I'm here with Kurt Bergland. First time meeting you here at Plaay.con 2025 it is.
2025, amazing.
Now, how many of these have you been to?
This is numero uno.
This is your first one?
Yeah.
Okay, it's my first one too.
Okay.
Were they gentle with you?
Well, for the most part. I asked them to be a little rough, but they just don't seem to respond to that, so what are you going to do?
So what are some of the things that you've seen here? I know it's only technically day one, but you got in yesterday and did a few things. So
Well, yeah, I mean, the first thing I think that you notice right away is just how welcoming the community is, and that continues to just blow me away. There's something, I think, about the company and the game engines and the different things that they offer that just draws good people, and I think that's the first thing. But yesterday, what did I see? Well, there's a lot of baseball going on, and there were some people playing. I saw some second season being played, and some golf. So it was kind of open gaming in the afternoon, and that's always interesting. It's like a Rorschach test to see what people like to pull out and play, and so that was great. And we had the picnic last night. That was a lot of fun. So it was a great day.
it was. I actually played. I did mostly just talking yesterday and hanging out, which I found at these conventions is like the thing. It's more talking than playing. And we said that in Connecticut when people are like, well, what are you going to do? What's the schedule? It's like, we're just going to show up and put you all in a room, and you guys are going to have fun. And they did. And it was just some guys played games, some guys played tournaments, some guys chatted. And, the more people I talk here at this event, they all kind of say the same thing. We're all kind of introverts when it comes to this game.
Yeah.
We do it in our own time, in our own space, and it's not something we share with a lot of people.
Right.
Well, unless you have a YouTube channel or something like
Right,
that. But I
right.
mean, most people are just kind of doing it. And when we get together with like-minded people who enjoy this stuff, it's just, we have like an entire year of, pent-up conversation.
That's right.
That we want to get out.
That's right. And like everyone's got their own angle, and I think too part of it is that because this is 90% of the time like a solitaire activity, people do like to, when they feel comfortable doing it, there's plenty to say and there's plenty to share when they do open up, and so that's kind of cool to see.
It is. One thing I just thought about is I was watching some people play bank shot basketball, which is right now is one of my favorite games. I'm just addicted to it. And by now, anybody listening to this knows that. Do you find it weird as you're going around here seeing people play games? If you see somebody playing a game that you play, isn't it a little weird?
Yeah.
That it's like, well, wait a sec, I play that game, and now you're I don't know. It's just weird. It's not weird bad.
No, but it's spooky. It's like I was just in the game room a minute ago, and there were two guys playing History Maker Baseball, the all-time White Sox and the all-time Yankees, which was a game I was playing on Sunday. So it was not only the game, but it was the teams. It was it was kind of wow, yeah. So I think we think as gamers that we're kind of this isolated and nobody thinks like we do, but that's not true. And then you come here and that's confirmed. It's just kind of remarkable, but it's cool. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's cool. It was, like I said, it's straight. It's like just seeing somebody play a game that you have on your table, because you don't see it anyplace else except for your table. And then someone's got it out, you're like, oh, no way.
That's right.
That's what happened in Ohio with me. Is one of the guys pulled out hockey bones. So we're in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and he pulls out a hockey game, and it was like, well, wait a sec, that's I've never seen anybody else play this. Only me. And so it was really fun to sit and play that a little bit there. So what are some of the things you're looking to do this weekend here at the convention?
Well, the tournament this afternoon is a baseball tournament, and there's two sort of brackets. One is where you choose a real team, and the other one is the Fictional Leap set. And I want to try the Fictional Leap set. I've bought it, but I haven't played a game with it yet. And I do some fictional stuff with other sims. I haven't done anything fictional with History Maker Baseball yet, and so I want to dip my foot in the pool. And the other thing I want to do before I leave is to because I bought the hoops, the full play hoops game, and I want to watch that being played, so I feel a little more comfortable with how to play it. So part of it I want to learn, and part of it I just want to experience too. So
Right. When it comes to fictional, do you think fictional would work with like Strat or Appa? Or do you think it's more these newer games that fictional really takes its shape?
that's a really good question.
Do you think anybody would play it?
No, not really, because I think that the people that are fans of Stratomatic and Appa are fans of what they know, and they know what they like, and they're not terribly interested, I don't think, love them, but they're not terribly interested in stretching their legs very much. Whereas if you're trying a sim that's a little bit off the beaten path, or not one of the big 3 or 4 sims, I guess, you're looking to stretch your legs. You're looking for something a little different, and that fictional is definitely something that would qualify. So I think it would be easier to create probably fictional APA cards than it would be for fictional Stratomatic cards, because you'd have to, well, maybe not. I don't know. That's a really good question. That's a toughie. I don't know. What do you think?
I kind of think Strat and Appa being, and look, I guess we could throw Status Pro in there. Any of the older games,
Yeah.
and I would consider those 3 to be the oldest. I think that they've set their tone, and this is what people like. And I don't know how fiction will go over, but I think like a History Maker Baseball. I think Joe has fictional teams in Payoff Pitch, things like that. So I think and I call them the newer games,
Yeah.
because compared to Strat and Appa, they are newer. I think you can get away with more of that. Whereas Strat and Appa, they've been locked in for so many years, like you said, and people are set, and this is what they like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But to try to introduce something fictional, and fictional is really different. You really got to like that and buy into it.
Yeah.
And I think that, like I said, they've kind of set their path. It's just my gut feeling, And I don't know if I would play a fictional app or a fictional strat. I don't play much fictional myself. I do have the Payoff Pitch fictional, and I played a little bit with that. It was kind of neat, because there's no expectations. There's,
Right.
If this guy hits 20 home runs, who's to say? I mean,
Yeah.
you can't say, well, he wouldn't have done that in real life, because there is no real.
Yeah.
And then as far as name pronunciations, you're not going to get corrected.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I set up a fictional league in out of the park baseball. Okay, and I set up a bunch of teams. It was fun. I created a whole bit, and I only played a handful of games, but I was Hartford. I think I was the Hartford Pancakes or something like that.
Okay.
It was all breakfast food.
Nice.
Sausages, pancakes,
Sure.
whatever. And my relief pitcher was Ron Jouquet. It wasn't Ron
Very
Jouquet.
nice.
It was Ron Jouquet.
Yes.
And no one could question that
That's right.
because it was fictional.
Refreshing.
So there are some
Yes.
advantages
Yes.
to fictional.
Yes.
But I think you are kind of limited to what games fictional will work for.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, and I think Strat, especially because for example, Stratomatic just released that Dead Ball era set, and I think it took them so long to do it because Dead Ball doesn't market well to everybody, and people can't relate because they're names, but they're only names
Right.
in many cases.
Yeah.
And that's what fictional is. They're names, and you got to kind of create in your mind the reality that those players were living in, or are living in. And it's an acquired taste, I think, for a lot of folks.
Okay, I'm casual baseball guy. I've heard of Dead Ball. I know kind of where it is and what it is. What is it actually? What are the years and why is it Dead Ball?
Dead Ball is generally understood as being post-Civil War through 1919, 1920. And what Dead Ball is It's the way the game was played, with basically one baseball all game long, and and sometimes that ball that they started the game with was not new, and so as the game went on and the ball got hit, it would become harder and harder to hit for any distance, and the ball would become dirty and hard to see, and the sun would be going down and be harder to see it. And sure enough, in 1920. The Yankees were facing the White Sox, and Carl Mays hit Ray Chapman in the head with a pitch because Ray Chapman couldn't see the pitch coming. And they took Ray Chapman out to like a building in center field, and he died because of the skull fracture. And after that, this is, I want to say in July or August of 1920, Major League Baseball realized they had some problems, and they had to address this or it was going to happen again. And so they changed not only the idea that you're using the same ball all the time, but also that you're not using a white ball that's easily visible, especially as the sun was going down in these afternoon games. And so the ball became livelier, and that ushered in the Babe Ruth power hitting era of the 20s, because they're changing balls and the balls are easier to see, and that shift. But before that, the game was marked by speed and taking the extra base and stealing bases and push the defense into mistakes, because that's how you were going to score. You weren't going to score by a home run, typically. And so the dead ball era is that period when scoring was different. Scoring was a little depressed compared to the 1920s and later, and it's just a different way of thinking about baseball. And some people, especially from the sim perspective, latch onto it as a very fascinating way of learning about the game, thing to learn about. And other people say, well, great, but where's the home run? Yeah. And so it's just a different baseball culture.
Okay. I was playing 1915 Federal League the other day. I have that in an APA. And so that would be considered dead ball,
Absolutely.
Right? Okay. So I bought it just for fun because I like different teams.
Yep.
And I think I was playing the Brooklyn Tip Tops and the Kansas City Packers or something like that.
Sure.
And I love teams like that because they're not Red Sox Yankees. They're very different, and it's part of history. So I enjoy playing those teams. So I guess I was playing the dead ball. Something you just said struck me. You're talking about seeing the ball and the white ball and the whole bit. On the plane ride out here, I started listening to Loose Balls, which is the ABA book. So I started listening to that, and they were talking about the red, white, and blue ball. How one of the reasons for that, not only was it the American Basketball Association, but you could see it better. That the orange ball, the brown ball, whatever it was, against the court, you couldn't really see it that well, especially if you're in the stands or on TV. And so they said, when we go to this, now you can see it. And the players actually didn't like it at first, but then they did because they could see the rotation of the ball. Do you think that's something that baseball would ever implement, is a different colored ball?
Well, Charlie Finley tried to do that in the late 60s.
Of course, Charlie Finley.
Yeah. He wanted orange baseballs, and he thought that they would be better seen in night games, and that it would be something that fans would want to buy. And so, like, as a marketing tool, the old Bob Uecker joke was that Charlie Finley wanted orange baseballs, but they couldn't find enough diseased cows to make them with. Yeah, I think, if it was anybody but Charlie Finley, I think it would have probably been taken more seriously. But Charlie had kind of worn out his welcome with the other owners by that point, and not that he cared. He didn't care, but you can't be the same guy to do that and then try and innovate.
I just didn't know if they had the different colors on the ball, if you could see the spin, if that would help in any way. Or if that would just, at this point here, it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, if they're picking up laces to see the spin, to see what kind of pitch it is, I suppose the color might help. It's an interesting idea. you're only talking about tenths of a second, though. So I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if color would be better. I don't know. That's a good question. Good question.
So I know that was it the XFL used a different color football or
Oh yeah.
didn't they do something like that?
Yeah,
Or they had a
that's right.
white on there or something.
Yeah, and I think it was the AFL in the '60s did something like that. I've seen some black and white football movies where they were using, and there was something. There used to be on the regular footballs, there used to be a white stripe on either end, and the receivers complained about it because they said it made it too slippery to catch. I don't know if that was true when the whole ball was white or not, but and I don't know if that was just something the receivers said to say something, but it was. I remember that being an issue too. So, yeah, I mean, for sure, if you're a basketball player, it would help because you can see the rotation on your own shot. That I completely get.
Yeah.
And why the NBA doesn't market itself better,
You know, Kurt, I've been playing that bank shot basketball. People are tired of it already, but I still love it. And I'm a casual guy. I like my Bird era stuff,
Sure.
70s, 80s, and that's what I watched. Michael Jordan, I watched that. I haven't watched much modern basketball. And people would say, well, Dave, it's a three-point shooting contest. It's like, well, how bad could it be? Well, I watched Game 7 of the finals the other night because I've been playing basketball on the table. So I was like, okay, I'll watch basketball. And guys would go in for a layup, and they would stop and throw it back out beyond the three-point line. They'd go in, instead of dunking it, they throw it out to the three-point line. It was like, go in, shoot it out. And they weren't kidding. It was, as an older basketball guy, you know, and enjoyed watching, you know, Moses Malone and Daryl Dawkins power in for the slam and Kareem get those rebounds and the Kareem skyhook. It was really, really tough watching these guys just forego every two-point shot and just make it a three-point shooting contest.
Yeah, the metric started by eliminating that mid-range shot, the 8 to, 12, 14 footer, because you either dunk or you three-point it. Now they're even getting rid of the dunk as being a less desirable option than tossing up a three. It's just, it's amazing. It's changed a lot. But it's metrics. You know?
Yeah, so someone pointed that out because I made a comment on Facebook about that. It says, wow, this is really difficult to watch as a older basketball fan, casual too. It's just all three-point shots. And someone said that is, when you do the math, you know, if you hit 30% of your three-point shots compared to 50% of your two-point shots, you're still going to be ahead of the game. I mean, maybe someone did the math, but for me, if I'm going to hit my twos and miss my threes, at least I'm getting two.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the three, but it's like, you know,
Right.
at some point, you're on the game show. It's like, do you keep the $5,000 or do you risk losing it all to get the $10,000? You know.
Yeah. I mean, and I watch Caitlin Clark square up to shoot a three, and she's, 10, 12 feet behind the arc. And that, and she's awesome. She makes them. But that is so counterintuitive. I mean, I used to coach basketball, and if I saw somebody taking a shot
from that far out,
yeah, I would just, oh my God.
Yeah.
And yet, she makes them.
Yeah, you were right about that. The NBA game, they weren't like snuggling up to the line.
Right.
They were taking them from court to court, you know, and they were hitting them.
Yeah.
And it was almost boring.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like if you were watching a hockey game and guys had the puck at center ice and they fire a wrist shot on the net and it goes in by the goalie and they were doing it with regularity. It's like, man, this is really, you know, where's working it in and grinding in the corners to get the puck out front for the good shot? You don't need it anymore. You're just shooting from all over and it's going in. And so I don't know if the NBA is going to do anything about that or if they're happy the way it is, but it's really a different game, and I find it hard to watch.
Yeah, it is. That's a good way of putting it. It's a very different game, and I think the ratings are showing that because part of it, of course, the ratings issue is, they're Indiana and Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
But that's not all of it. I think it's a less watchable product.
Yeah.
And so that affects ratings too. And at some point, that's going to occur to David Silver and the other owners, that they're losing money because of the product they're putting out there.
Maybe. And then the celebration. Somebody did a side-by-side video of the hockey Stanley Cup Finals win versus the Game 7 basketball win. And the Game 7 basketball guys are done. They shook hands. Yay. The hockey gloves and sticks are going everywhere. People piling on top of each other. Fans are going nuts. They're throwing stuff on the ice. It was just pure mayhem.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I remember I watched the basketball game. I was like, why does nobody care?
Right.
Nobody cares that they won the championship. You would not know it was a championship.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas hockey, you know that they won.
Yeah. It's just it's a very different product than what.
It's very disappointing for someone who hasn't watched the game in many, many years. It was very disappointing. So anyway, let's talk about your channel now. So what's coming up on the Kirk Bergland channel?
Well, there's the. I've got regular features of Payoff Pitch on Saturday nights, Field Day every Tuesday night, History Maker Baseball Franchise All-Stars on Thursday nights, and then in between there, I'm sprinkling in the set that I created for History Maker Baseball, Kurt Bergland's 50 Years of Baseball Greatness, some replay baseball, some Fall Classic Baseball, and also unboxings and secondary store and demos and all sorts of stuff. I've got I've got box seat baseball coming up with some demos as well. So that's going to be coming up later in July. So a lot of stuff. It's been a busy time. The community is very prolific in creating new sims for us to demo and try out, and so keeping up with that can be a challenge. But yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Membership is strong. We've got 177 members on my channel.
Oh, wow. Fantastic.
2,800 subscribers. I mean, it's been, when I started almost 6 years ago, I thought, 250 subscribers would be kind of a good thing, and it just became this thing. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, but it's a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. Now let me ask you something else here. And you don't got to name the game. I'm not looking for a name of the game here, but have you ever played a game, whether you demoed it on the channel or played it off to the side, and then just said, no way, I'm not playing this, I don't like it, I'm not going to give it a video? And don't name the game, but has there been a game that you're just like, this is just not happening?
Yes.
Okay.
And there's different reasons for it. Sometimes it's because it's a product that I think isn't finished yet. It could be maybe it needs more play testing, maybe there's something wrong with the instruction book, or maybe the other kind of thing is sim has to do one of two things for me. It has to either teach me something about the players or a way of thinking about the players that I didn't know before, or it has to play so smoothly that it's an experience on the tabletop that I think other people would enjoy. If it doesn't do one of those two things, then, and it doesn't happen very often, but it has happened.
Yeah. Conversely, has there been a game, and you can name this game if you like, that you put away and didn't like, and then you went back and gave it a second chance, and on the second chance it actually worked?
Oh, sure. Pine Tar Baseball was like that. When I started playing Pine Tar Baseball, first of all, I was playing it wrong. Now that's
a pretty simple game to play wrong.
Yeah, it was, but I was messing up the change in the pitcher grades. And and this was maybe like 2014, 2015, before I had a channel. And then I met with James Formo, and he taught me how to play the game in person. And the light bulb went on. Because I was trying to figure out, my paradigm was, well, how many batters are they facing? It wasn't times through the order. I was looking for how many batters do you face? And so I was doing the changes wrong. And so that's one of them. Another one, let's see. I was very slow in coming around to APA baseball. Because grew up a Stratomatic kid, and a little Status Pro and a little Sherco, but not too much APA. And I remember trying it with a friend when I was in high school, and I just didn't like it. And later on, when I got a chance to go to the Chicago tournament, and this was also about 10 years ago, I played some games to kind of refresh my memory, and I was going with a friend. We were just going to hang out for the day. And I realized that it was a much better sim than I thought it was. So there's examples for sure.
Have you ever tried a new game, no matter what the sport, and you found that you didn't like it, maybe you hated it, but it was you were having a bad day, or you felt like you were being rushed to try to learn this game and get it up on the channel, or just whatever it was, it really was just and it wasn't the right time, and you only had a little bit of time to give this game, and then you're like, that wasn't fair, so let me go back and, okay, I'm going to give this game like all day. I'm going to finally sit down, I got no distractions. Have you ever had that happen?
Yeah, I have. And I've had it happen not just with baseball, but with other sports too. And I don't want to name the game, but I can think of a few actually that I had that experience with.
I've had that, and I put the game right away, and then I was like, then when I calmed down, I was like, something, that wasn't fair to the game.
Right.
I played it 10 minutes. I was rushing through it because I just wanted to get it done because I got other things happening, work, family life, whatever it is. Let me be fair and pull it out and give it a fair chance. And then at that point, it's like, it's actually working out.
Yeah, and I think that's something that gamers do. Like, we expect a very small learning curve. Like, if we've got to work at learning something on our tabletop, it's going to be tough. And we want it right now, well, not immediate, but close to immediate gratification in our gaming experience. And if we don't get it, it gets very frustrating. And so, there's stuff that I think we miss out on because we expect that rapid success with a sim. And so, I agree.
All right. Well, Kurt, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, Dave. A lot of fun.
And
great convention. So we're having a good time.
Yep. So we got more to go. We're just early in day one. We're very early in day one. So, all right, go back in and have some fun. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you, my friend.
All right. Bye-bye.